Hi, I'm Diana Montford, the world's first transgender television journalist. And my guests are two 9/11 first responders. Shane, the singer-songwriter, whom you know. She does our show all the time. She's very popular with both you and here at the studio. Everybody likes her. What you don't know is that, you usually see Shane as a glamorous entertainer. She was a police officer and was a first responder to Ground Zero during 9/11. And my other guest is Mr. T.J. Gilmartin. He, too, is a first responder. He might be ill, I believe.
I am ill. I am retired with lung problems and GERD and all kinds of breathing problems. And I'm on disability, and I'm totally retired.
And he's still a comparatively young man, and that is thanks to 9/11. And I am now going to just hand the floor over to whoever wants to talk about his or her experiences.
I'll talk about 9/11. 9/11 was a time that those planes hit and everybody was running out of Manhattan. A group of guys ran in, middle-class working people, firemen, cops, and construction workers. Okay, they spent a lot of time down there, and they did what they had to do. Fast forward to 2003, guys started dying. Men that ran marathons, emergency service cops that ran marathons, ended up passing away, and all kinds of people. I think we're a little less than 1,000 right now that have died since 9/11. That's not on 9/11, it's since 9/11. And they're all dying of funky cancers that you've never even heard of. And the government kept saying, oh no, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong. Well, finally we got them to admit there was something wrong. Scientists found all these chemicals and all these oddball things were in the Trade Center. And then they gave us a law called the James Zadroga Act. It was an act first, then it became law when Obama signed it. Jimmy Zadroga was a cop a detective who went to 9/11 and spent months on that pile. And he died in 2006, from all kinds of lung diseases. So they named the bill after him. Well, all the men thought who was sick, we finally have gotten some kind of just due for what we did. Even after everybody died, the government finally acknowledged that there was something wrong with the air down there when we were there. So, next thing happens, any man that had to sign up to be part of this 9/11 Zadroga bill to get medical coverage, all the names were checked. At the time, it was 13,000 guys had signed up, and every one of those guys' names was checked against the terrorist watch list. They didn't find one terrorist. Okay. Well, as we're still going along, we had to fight then. After we got that bill, we had to go another 2 years fighting. Now these are sick guys. They get out of their beds with their respirators and their
Excuse me, were they hoping that these people would die and then they wouldn't have to pay them?
No, because the money does go to their families. They are entitled. But
how much money are we talking about? How can they compensate you for your life?
They will compensate you for the time you got sick and retired, up until when you're 65, when you could have collected Social Security. So if you're retired at 40, you have 20 years of salary. That's what they're giving you. They're not giving you a lawsuit. It's compensating you for your lost wage.
Your salary at that time, and they just keep the amount the same? Or
No,
do they give you the cost of living?
They give you the cost of living. Like I work for a union. I was a shop steward for a high-rise construction. I was with the Cement Masons Union. And we get a $3 raise every year. So that was figured in to the calculation of
good.
what you get. But they're only giving you 10%. The bill is a 5-year bill. In 2016, the bill took effect October 2011.
Right.
December 31st, 2016, they're promising us the other 90%.
But you seem cynical about their promises.
They told us the air was good down there,
Yes,
originally.
They
So,
really, well, didn't Christy Whitman, the
Christy
governor of
Whitman.
New
Christy Whitman,
Jersey?
she should be locked up. She should be locked up.
Because she lied?
Yeah. I mean, we
Do you
all...
think she knew, or do you think she sincerely believed that the air was good and
They lied to
simply
her,
made a
maybe.
mistake?
I don't know, but I do know from all the fighting that I've done for 9/11 responders and all the testimony we've had in front of Congress and in front of federal commissions at the federal building in New York, it has come out there were air monitoring stations set up all around Ground Zero. And they knew the air was bad. Maybe not the first day. Maybe not the first. But, you know, that's ancient history now. I mean, what I would really like to talk about is how 9/11 has become a money-making machine for candy companies.
How so? What, like, you know, building 7 bars or something?
No. Actually, 7-Eleven around 9/11 has little breath mints that say 9/11. And it's got the American flag, and it's from some company out in Wisconsin or something. That's one part. Then you have
Fraud.
the frauds. This is the worst part. The frauds.
That's so sick that people would...
You have a group of guys,
And women.
women, well, at least I know some of them.
I'm coughing in sympathy. I don't know why I'm coughing, you know.
There was a red fire truck. This is how the government has been asked, please, law enforcement, from the sick responders who are retired detectives, firemen, and construction workers. We've asked the government, please do us a favor, take care of these frauds. We know who was there and who wasn't there. Okay. Well, they
You
used
walk
to...
that beat 4 months, especially a mile radius, and you're walking from the firefighters or their blue tarps or
Right.
end to end. You're constantly saying, how are you? Do you need anything? Or did you get sleep? Are you drinking? Or are you hydrated? You know who was there. You know who wasn't there. Constantly, you just knew each other.
There was a red pickup truck that ran around for 10 years, and it said FDNY on it, and it said the Ground Zero truck, and it was in gold leaf, and it had all 343 firemen's names on it. Well, eventually, people realized this truck, these aren't legitimate firefighters. One was a pedophile who had been locked up for...
But was he a firefighter?
No. Let me continue there. We caught this truck.
Okay.
Jimmy Zadroga's father, Joe Zadroga, God bless him, was down in South Jersey.
Right.
And here's the truck, and he called me. And what the truck does is it sells T-shirts, and it begs for donations, saying we're sick responders, we're collecting money for 9/11 sick responders, and we're going to give it to them. Well, lo and behold, the truck never did give anything. Okay, well, we got a picture of the truck. We got it to civil court for being a donation company, and it's not handed over money. They were convicted in Jersey in civil court. They went to confiscate their $250,000 that they had in the bank from selling T-shirts, and they had emptied it already.
No, they're practiced con
Now,
artists.
supposedly right now, at the time, there's going to be a criminal prosecution of them.
How can you find them?
Right. I mean, oh, no, they know where they are. I mean, I know where they are. One's in Manahawk and one's up in
Do you
Thomas.
know their names?
Yeah, Nimchek and Scaglione. Those are the last names. Anthony Nimchek and Mark Scaglione, I think, or it's Mark, whatever. But there was other guys that were with these people. There were guys, I'll tell you a real fast story. There were two guys from South Jersey, Charlie Giles and a Richie Skinner. They had convinced everybody that they were first responders. They convinced the Port Authority that they were first responders, and they asked the Port Authority to please donate a piece of beam to the town of Barnegat. Okay, well, Mr. Giles, when the Port Authority gives you an authentic piece of the World Trade Center, you get a certificate of authenticity.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Giles, lo and behold, takes that piece of steel to his house in the red pickup truck. Remember my first story?
Right.
Okay? These guys were all tied together. He turned around, took that piece of steel to his house, cut pieces off it, made 100 copies of that certificate, had a mail order business for shirts, World Trade Center steel, and World Trade Center dust, and he would give you a certificate of authenticity.
Sort of like a piece of the one true cross.
Exactly. So,
Well, what can we do about all this?
what can we do?
All these criminals, these crooks
What-
are trading on people who died and
What we
gave them-
want to do is, like I said, the money. They're going after the sick responders' money.
Well, what can we do to stop them?
We get the name out there. Let people know that 9/11, it was a dozen years ago. But there's a lot of suffering still going on. I mean, for a
Much of it comes after the fact.
after the fact, and it's for
Years later.
right, and it's going to be, wait till asbestosis and mesothelioma has a 20-year lag time. So in 2021, you're going to watch another group of guys dropping dead.
Like Giuliani, Bloomberg, etc.
They could, you
I'm
know.
hoping that doesn't happen,
You know, these guys, I mean, these guys have gone down to Delaware collecting money. They stand in front of 7-Eleven.
You mean the real ones or the fake
No,
ones?
the fakes. Nimchek, Scaglione, Giles, Skinner. I give you another name, Tommy Fay from Spring Lake. These are all people that have put out stories over the 10 years, and they're all contradictory stories. One, he was there on the day of the 11th.
Is it possible that they're insane and delusional and think they really were there?
Yes, they do.
Oh,
But that's, but that's not my problem. My problem is
Still they're criminals.
legitimate first responders. There is a minute amount of money to take care of these people.
yeah.
When you take a fraud that's going to try and take that money, delusional, you know what then? If you really don't want to hear what I would do, I would take that delusional gene out of the gene pool
Right.
and get rid of it.
You mean
And
kill him?
I didn't say that.
But I had...
But basically, I mean, these guys belong locked up. They've all been...
Shouldn't they be in insane asylums?
No, they should be locked up in jail.
You had to be cleared when you were dispatched. You had to be cleared. There was a clearing system. I have my badge right in there. I could show it to you. It says 9/11 right on
Listen,
it with your
show
photo
it.
ID.
I will. Yes, I know about all that.
And the government and the people, the powers that be, they knew what we were up against. They knew. They should have come to us and said, "What do you need? Come in." Why didn't they do that to us? Why didn't they say you should have had proper equipment? Why didn't
Why are they treating you so badly? I don't get it.
Right now, the Department of Justice is trying to do goods. If you become part of the
But why don't
9/11,
they treat the real ones well? Why don't they say, whatever you want, whatever you need, you did so much for us. Here, take everything. Take money, take health care, take vacations,
do you
take
know?
beautiful clothes,
I don't know.
take jewelry. Take
I don't know. I don't know because I turned around and that law was signed in January of 2011. It's now 2.5 years later, and out of 18,000 first responders that were at Ground Zero that have registered for the Zadroga bill, 53 have gotten letters of what they're going to get paid.
Well, what are they going to get paid?
That's a variable. You know, different people will get.
Why would it be different, depending on the extent
On
of
the
the
extensive
injury?
injury, on how much you made, on how much.
How much you made before 9/11?
Like it's a continuation of the fund. Remember when Ken Feinberg was paying the stockbrokers' families that were killed in the Trade Center? Remember those people were all getting money?
Well, on the street where I live, on East 88th Street, Derek Sword, who was with Cantor Fitzgerald, died. That was very sad.
Correct. So his family got money from Feinberg originally.
Well, they were Scottish. He was from Scotland, and he was going to be 30 that November.
But
Shane has her badge. She's going to show us.
This is what it would look like. Can you get a close-up of that? It would have 9/11 on there, Port Authority. Mine says CISM, Critical Incident Stress Management Team. I was a team leader at the time. 9/11 is over on this side right here, the date. So when you responded, I responded on that date, and there's my signature. You were fingerprinted, you were cleared, you were...
but that's exactly right. But
And
getting back now,
and I
when
had-
you sign up for this bill, which only goes to October 3rd, we'll know if they're trying to get the money on October 3rd. You have to produce 2 affidavits from a witness that you were at Ground Zero, and it has to be notarized.
I have a friend named Guy Sanders who was most definitely at Ground Zero. He has a photograph of himself at Ground Zero with a colleague, also a first responder. He cannot prove that he was there. He's trying to. And John Feel, a friend we
John's
all
a
have
friend
in
of mine.
common, right, is helping him, and he will prove that he was there. But when he took this photograph to the government and said, well, here's this person in the photograph with me, they said, well, where is he? A guy said, well, he died of cancer. And they said, oh, well, you know, they're telling Guy, well, we don't know that you got cancer. We believe that you were a first responder, but after all, that was 12 years ago. How do we know you didn't get cancer? Just because it's your destiny.
But going back to this, I'll use Charlie Giles from Barnegat, New Jersey, as the example. He ran for 10 years all over the country. He got a free trip to the Indianapolis 500, everything paid for. He ran around America with that red truck, with them in the red truck, and himself, and they collected money, saying, made up this big story that he was crushed in the North Tower, and he was dragged out by a Port Authority sergeant, even had his number and all. People were giving money, okay? Vice President Joe Biden's cousin got him a proclamation down in Delaware, had all the people in Delaware coming out giving him money. But what I'm trying to say is, after the fact, when we looked into it and we talked to that Port Authority sergeant, none of this story is true. It's our fault it took us 10 years to realize the guy was a fraud, but now, that's one example.
What do you want? Bottom line,
What do I
you want?
Respect. And
stop stealing the valor. Like another fraud I'll give you, Vinnie Foras.
Okay, but what do you... frauds galore. We
responded to help New York get back on its feet. That was our mission, and to get our nation back on its feet. And we did whatever it took. This is the fiber we are.
You know, we went down to help our fellow man. We are now all dealing with disease, retirement.
So you want some kind of compensation,
it's
rightful compensation.
The compensation is coming, but what we want is why we have to police this system. Why do we have to...
Why are they treating you so bad?
We have sent DVDs, we've sent affidavits, we've sent to the... and nothing is ever done.
Why are they treating you so badly?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. And sometimes you think, you know, they wish... You feel like that they wish we were all would just...
Go away.
Go
Why?
away. Don't know.
Is it because maybe the 9/11 thing was a put-up job, was an inside job, and maybe some of you might realize that?
No, I don't think it was an inside job. unless the U.S. government hired them Arabs, those to.
Well, they say that the
plane.
plane could be controlled from the ground, and
Nah.
no matter what happened, they were going to crash into that.
I honestly no. If that I don't believe that. In my opinion, I don't believe that.
Now, do you have cancer?
I have nodules growing in my lungs and in my thyroid that last October were not cancer, but they had grown for 3 years in a row, and they're right to the point before they would turn into cancer.
And
so
that, can they get rid of those? Can they operate on you?
yeah, they'll take lobes of your lung out.
And that is because of September 11th?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. I mean...
Do you have kids?
I have 3 kids. 3 kids. They're down in Georgia.
Why Georgia?
That's another story.
Okay.
That's another. The wife ran away with. But that's another story. But
Boy, you get all those breaks.
yeah. She's dead though. She died. But
well, God fixed her.
yeah, that's there.
Carmen does work around, but we need help with this. And it's the people that are dying of cancer. I'm lucky. I don't know how I'm alive. I deal with survivor's guilt every day. I can't believe that the people I activated in dispatch. I felt like it was my fault for the longest time. I have pains and all kinds of spasms in my stomach because of the toxins, and I had 2.5 years of chelation, which is like chemo 3 times a week. Hours and hours in that chair, sitting there, and with all the side effects. I go for counseling and therapy so I can have a good night's sleep because this doesn't go away. I don't know what's going to happen to me, but I just know that there has to be help for the ones that are dying of the cancers that they contracted when they were at the mound. That's what's more important, not this case. Reach out and help these people.
Do you mean help, financial help? Do you mean
medical,
new cures for cancer, better diagnosis of as yet undreamed of cancer?
If they have it and they know of it, and they, or maybe it's not a cancer, they're calling it a cancer, maybe it's just a reaction to the toxins they ingested, like myself, because I have like gadolinium and all these different things, and that they said I would never come in contact unless I was working in a smelting factory where there.
Let me ask you a question, both of you. If you had to do it over again, would you?
Yep.
Yes. We're rescuers. We respond. Tell us when and where.
Knowing what's happened to both of you?
Well, I think I'd ask, do I need equipment for this?
But they lied. They said, oh, no, the ear's fine.
Well,
Don't worry about
my
it.
gut feeling. This, you know what? This whole thing was an isolated case. It was so horrific and so big in magnitude.
I'll give you an example. Okay? My sister had a house in Bell Harbor. My brother had one of the burnt-down houses in Breezy Point. The minute that hurricane hit, I was with Monsignor Brown in St. Francis de Sales, working for months, never left.
To help the people?
Yeah.
Why are they so nice to Sandy people and so bad to September 11th people?
I forget that. Why are they so nice to Haitian people? Why are they so nice to Egyptian people? Nothing against these people. Why are they so nice that all this money goes overseas? Why can't they take care of their own first?
Why aren't they?
Their own went to take care of them when they got hit.
Well, if you
And I think to my dying day I'll never get an answer to that. Never get an answer to that. We had to force Bloomberg to thank us at Ground Zero. We had to force him.
He should have given you money. Thanks. I mean, thanks a lot. Thanks for nothing. Give me the money.
So politics made politicians very, very rich.
But
it's destroying the world, not just in our nation. It's worldwide now.
I didn't go down to Ground Zero looking to help people and say, oh,
I want to claim.
There's a Democratic body, and I'm not touching that one, but there's a Republican, I'll pick that one up. There's an independent, I don't know what I'll do about that one.
And we didn't go looking to go, oh, this is a lawsuit. We're not made of that. But you know, I think that the government knows
when you get money, they're giving us 10%, and then you're going to have to wait for the other 90%. I mean, forget that. Everybody has, the responders are losing their houses, they're losing their families, they're losing their health, and they're losing their lives.
Did your wife leave because you were so stressed out by what had happened that it damaged your marriage?
That would be PTSD, which I have too.
No, No, I won't throw that one on 9/11 because before 9/11 happened, we were fighting before it even happened. So I cannot, it didn't help after the fact. That when I came home after that and
Icing on the cake, right?
right. But
Are you afraid of the future?
No, I'm not afraid of the future.
Of dying?
No.
Of dying a slow, lingering death from cancer?
Am I afraid of it? No, I'm not afraid of it. Gonna have to deal with it,
Do you think that's going to be your destiny?
Oh, I'd write that in stone. Just like all the rest.
Do you know when?
Do I know when? No, I don't know when. I go October for my yearly CAT scans and full medical.
Shane, are you afraid?
I go to counseling. I have a therapist I see every week for all my feelings about everything. I don't have a place for any of it. It's just so big. It's so huge still in front of me. Like I said, my music was my therapy. It gave me one outlet. So for a moment, my body isn't racked with pain. There's nothing you can do. You can't complain about it. They don't have a cure. And I don't want to be on chelation therapy the rest of my life. I stopped that after 2.5 years. So I don't know. I pray to God, and He gets me through it. And I'm still me under that. But I just, I think it's just so huge. This whole thing is so huge.
Excuse me, do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
Why did God let this happen?
I don't know. There's good and evil. Maybe it's the devil.
I have one thing that I came up with because
We only have a minute left.
I think he let us all live and didn't end it there to allow others that are trying to get their life right, that just didn't turn on that right side, a chance to join us later.
Okay. And my guests have been?
Change their ways.
My guests have been singer-songwriter Shane, who in her previous incarnation as a police officer was a first responder on September 11th to Ground Zero, and the fabulous Mr. T.J. Gilmartin,
Thank you.
a first responder who's been outing fraudulent first responders and who does a great deal for other first responders. And we're almost out of time. Anyway, I love you a lot, and I will see you next time. And even if no one else loves you, I love you. So you take good care of yourselves. And contact John Feel of the Feel Good Society, right?
Foundation.
It's on the internet. And that's it.